grew up in a household that taught me how to pray, that taught me God. But when I found myself in Johannesburg, there was a lot of destruction in my life.
Sure.
And I'd forgotten what my pillar was. I'd forgotten where I find my source.
Acting is not glamorous, guys. You know, acting is not glamorous.
To me at all, man.
Speaking about God, why are you an atheist?
Why I'm an atheist is simply because I'm not convinced that it's true, right? So, and because when people ask you, like, do you believe in God? You know, often my first question is, okay, which one? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, which one? Because I want to have that conversation. I want to understand. Because, yes, I've been surrounded by Christianity almost my whole life. And I was never really convinced with it. I mean, maybe as a child, when you buy into the Noah's Ark, you know, I think we all knew that story growing up. But you, and there's a reason why they teach it to kids.
What's the reason?
Well, because your critical thinking faculties aren't there yet. You can't think for yourself. You don't ask the questions.
Oh, yeah.
You as a child, especially a young child, you know, our brains only developed far enough to be told what to do.
Yes.
So don't touch that, do this.
Yes.
Do your homework, do that.
That's
don't
it.
do that, do this.
That's it.
That's as far as the brain can comprehend. And then at that age, you tell kids that, you know, there's a hell. What is that supposed to teach them? You know, that everything they do must come out of fear. So I'll only do the right thing if I'm scared. How is that a good teaching?
And in high school, I don't even think I enjoyed being a teenager that much. I didn't do teenage things. I was just disciplined and just did hockey.
Yes.
But I was doing things like questioning a lot of things like Christianity at the church, or, you know, I was like, but why? But why this? And then now that I'm old enough to actually do my own research and learn, I'm realizing, there's actually a tribe that I belong to, and it's this one. Now I'm learning. Now I can understand the things that are happening, the things that I can see and feel. And luckily, as I was understanding, then now my family starts to come into the mix.
Ah, yes.
You know, to say, they didn't say we see it. They just...
I come from two sides of two different religions. My mother's side is the Lutheran. My father's side, ngizalwa kwaShembe, mngwa kwaShembe, meaning Isaiah Shembe is my great-grandfather, meaning Ilanga Lamalanga is my grandfather, biologically.
Wow.
Meaning Simpiwe Shembe is literally my brother, because obaba betu bazalo umuntu oyedwa, mkhulu oyedwa. So I needed to now, with all of what I've gone through, infuse the two religions that don't go together, because it's two different schools of thought. I needed to first of all understand ubuNazareth, observe ukuthi njoba ngizalwa kwaShembe, I did not grow up ngisonta kwaShembe. I grew up ngisonta eLuthela. It's just that my mother did not marry my father. So now I need to, mina in my adult life, understand this religion, the Shembe religion. I need to understand.
Why, I mean, I'll say acting, you know, in Nabu Illuminati there and there. Yes, because this thing, we are getting it, you audition, you love it, you act, hey, the world loves you.
And then you change.
America, they love you. South Africa, you go Zimbabwe, you go Mozambique, you go Swaziland, they love you. South Africa, they celebrate you for 4 years. Now, what they do, they deal with you now. Now they start giving you these smaller characters, you know. And now you're no longer more on TV. Maungenile kunzima ukuphumene noma ubone ukuthi angisakhona ukuphila, but ukuthi uphume it's not easy nakhona ukuphuma, because another thing uzoyaphi, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?
And question.
And laba abakhonayo ukuthi baphume, ayi uNkulunkulu wabo mkhulu, and baphume bahambe bophila impilo nice futhi idlule nale acting, bangasayikhumbuli ne acting, but few, how many of them, you know?
There's very
few now.
But it's a very sensitive space because it is controlled by the forces of darkness. If you look around, just up Amakholwa, what are our programs? Because if the devil is strategic in using the media to push his agenda, we cannot defeat him by prayer and fasting. Nati, we need to be equally strategic. In other words, we also need to have our own TV stations. We also need to have our own Netflix. Also push agenda yetu. We also need to have our own satellite dishes that will be pushing our agendas yetu, because we cannot keep working in the Babylonian system if we are not transforming it. As someone in the media space, if by the grace of God uNkulunkulu has elevated you ukuthi ube ubuso obazwayo nobujwayelekile, ube a so-called famous person or an influencer, you need to influence the world for Christ. You cannot just be an influencer ehamba ngezinqe social media and then claim to be a Christian. There's a certain caliber that you need to portray as a child of God in the media space.
Spoken to an ancestor, I will never ever speak to an ancestor, right? My reference for me is biblical.
You need a psychiatric ward. You're schizophrenic.
Wow.
Listen, I've been called lots of things being Christian. Schizophrenic is the highest level of them all.
Guys, right? I have never visited, spoken, seek counsel from an ancestor, and I will never do it. But the schizophrenic me says that my experience with Christ is enough, right? So whether I come and visit you, thank you, ma. Whether I come and visit you and I learn about my ancestries and I go find out and all 4,000 of them that led to me, I honor them for living their lives as best as they can, to have given me an opportunity for my mother and my father to meet at some point. And I give glory to God that He saw it fit that I live, right?
Wow, big up to Sang for really, if it was me, I would have, I don't think I have that level of emotional maturity. I do have emotional maturity, but Rorisang, you either have emotional maturity or you respect elders no matter what, which you did state. Now, me and Rorisang are on two opposite sides of religion or beliefs, right? I believe in God. I only believe in God, and I don't worship men. I honor my ancestors. I slaughter, I patha. I don't worship my ancestors. I've always stated that I honor my ancestors, but I worship God. Now, in this case, me and Rorisang would be two different things. However, I've always stated that why do people find the need or feel the need to impose their beliefs and religions on other people? What is it that you stand to lose if I don't believe in Christianity, for instance? Or what is it that I would lose if if you don't believe in the ancestral whatever? Can't we all just walk our paths and journeys and respect each other's religions? What Rorisang did there was remarkable, was commendable, and I respect you even 10 times more for that. We can disagree and not agree and not believe in the same thing, but we can coexist. Nina Bazalwane, stop this thing of demonizing us that believe in and honor our ancestors, and Nati that believe in our ancestors. Let's stop thinking that you guys are crazy for doing that. Let's just coexist.
Because I grew up in a Christian home, so I thought I knew God because my mom knows God, because my grandfather is a prophet. So you think that's your ticket? It's like, it's like, I got ladies, I'm McDonald's, McDonald's grandson. Yes, I'm going to him. You know what I mean? It's like everyone has to figure out their own salvation.
Yeah.
So I had to know God for myself, because you see me as this guy who blesses you. And I do bless you. And I'm going to carry on blessing you. But that is not my purpose.
Innocent, as an altar boy, Ihrotman Yami was taking care of me. Yabon. Angibonisa nje indlela zesonto, angibonisa nje indlela ezihambisi ngizihambayo namhlanje. Jabulisiwe mina ngiboniswe Ihrotman Yami. Yabona, because kube nesikhathi as an actor today mina ngiyengashare istage neHrotman Yami. SK. Okay. We time ala ngingosi yakhe. Ihrotman yakho be. Ihrotman yakho wathupha engishele be. Yabona. No vandaag uyashimayela umfundisi esontweni unosonto lakhe from Indican. Yabona Ashdi King. Ababathi Ashdi King abantu abatama Ashdi King vandaag. So umshumayeli wasesontweni. Yabona. bese ke mina ngisatha ukuthi ngumshumayeli wasekhoneni.
Okay.
Njengoba vele mina memprobile zami singanavalo lokuvula iBhayibheli. Nokuringa ngoJesu. Anginavalo mina, azange mina nawe saba novalo sokuthi singaringa ngoJesu. Saringa sakhuthaza nathi uyayithola lona yini. Yabo ngikhula mina kusekele yami abangani bami bayamazi uJesu. Yabona. Angifateli umuntu koptu ozothi ngiblome naye afuna ukuhlukumeza inkolo yami angitshele angitheste ngoNkulunkulu. Ngibekela phela ngiyaphuma kuye. Akusiyakuthi ngashoba naye lela yini. Uyayithola lona yini.
God will show up when it's time, and God will really give you what you need when it's time and when you're ready. And everything happens when it's meant to happen, not when you are ready, but when God is.
Realized that I grew up in church. I grew up in a household that taught me how to pray, that taught me God. But when I found myself in Johannesburg, there was a lot of destruction in my life, and I had forgotten what my pillar was. I had forgotten where I find my source. Yeah, so I've had those seasons. 2019 was a big season where I'd forgotten God. I was in a really dark space.
What is forgetting God? What does it look like?
It looks like creating, for me, it looked like anxiety. It looked like self-harm. It looked like wanting to shy away and not express myself. It looked like attracting relationships that were not serving me, relationships that were keeping me in circles, keeping me stuck, relationships that were literally making my nervous system sick. You know, and finding myself in spaces where I wanted to be small, where I wanted to be shy and not be myself. So it was spaces that were not necessarily nurturing me. Yeah, so forgetting God looks like that, because then when you come back to God, you come back to your fullest expression of creativity and creation.
Come on.
Yeah, then you find that ground of let me be myself. Let me discern in the relationships that I have. Let me keep myself safety instead of participating in toxic relationships or being in environments that don't nurture me. You become whole when